Hey, what's up everyone? This is Silver Slayer. Welcome back for another video. Should you buy generic silver? That is the topic for today. Before we start, make sure to smash that like button, subscribe if you already haven't. We're almost at 18,000 subscribers. I cannot thank you guys enough. I do random pop-up giveaways for people who like my videos and engage in my content. So make sure you do that as well for a chance to win free silver. I just did a giveaway 2 days ago, so I'm going to try to do it more frequently because I do love the support you guys give this channel. But anyways, should you buy generic silver? That's the real question for today's video. I'm curious, I want to pass the question on to you. Do you guys buy generic silver or do you like government-backed coins? See, when it comes to generic silver, it's a lot different than government-backed coins like American eagles, kookaburras, pandas, koalas, Somali elephants, all that. Because those coins are legal tender. Those are government-backed coins. An American eagle in the United States is worth $1. You can actually spend that for $1 face value. It has legal tender, which means there's an actual mintage, produced every year. I think this year was actually 12 million produced, but compared to generic silver, that's generic. It's not a real coin. It's called a round. But the difference between coins and rounds are coins are actually legal tender that have an actual denomination or face value. Rounds are just basically a fake looking coin. It's not a real valued currency you can spend in a country, but they still do look basically the same. A lot of rounds like the Sunshine Mint copy like the similar American Eagle look to them, but obviously they can't say $1 face value or anything like that. But rounds are a lot different than coins. When it comes to rounds, they're a lot cheaper as well. They're better to stack if you just want to buy bullion. You really don't have to worry about the condition, getting milk spotted or dinged up or anything, because it's just for the silver content, the metal content. But I'm curious what you guys think about rounds. A lot of times people when it comes to coin stacking or coin collecting, there's appreciating value on top of spot price that can occur even with coins like American Eagles to some extent. It happens more oftenly and more profitably with pandas and kookaburras, and that's because these coins have a collector value. The design changes every year. There's lower mintage numbers, which means people want to collect them, and that can be good because if spot price stays around $15, then at least your stack is still appreciating on top of spot price. Your pandas can appreciate triple, quadruple over the next 5 years. So with generic silver, it's strictly stuck to spot price. So if you buy a whole bunch of 1 ounce rounds right now, and in 10 years, if silver is still $15, your stack has literally not appreciated at all. So that's something to take in consideration. Also, I like coins because they're more recognizable and more trusted, especially if you're a prepper or you want to barter or trade with people. People are very hesitant when it comes to gold and silver, especially gold. But if you have a coin like an American Eagle, that's worldwide recognizable. That's globally recognizable. People are gonna know and trust that coin. When it comes to rounds, a lot of times these rounds aren't as popular or aren't as known as the U.S. Mint. So when it comes to that, you might have issues where people might be a little skeptical, wondering if that's a real coin. You know, for people who stack silver, usually know about Sunshine Mint, the Volcambi bars, about that type of stuff. But when it comes to, other mints or other rounds that make these coins, especially if it doesn't have a lot of features or it could easily be faked, especially with gold, then people might be a little hesitant. When it comes to stacking strategies, they both can play the same part. You will lower your dollar per cost average when you do buy generic silver though. I personally don't really like generic silver that much, except when it comes to the bars. The bars, like the stackers, the 10 ounce stackers, those are really cool. I love the bars because the difference between, minted bars and poured bars or whatever, the only difference really for me is the poured silver compared to like a factory made bar or a generic bar. But when it comes to the rounds and coins, there's a big difference for me. I love the history behind the coins. I love who designed the coins, what started it, when the coins changed over the years. I love the story behind it, like that on that aspect. Plus, I am a coin collector. when it comes to rounds, they're very plain. So instead of buying the 1 ounce rounds, I'll usually just buy the 5 ounce or 10 ounce bars instead to replace that, to still lower my dollar per cost average, still getting the benefits of buying generic silver, but just not really having the rounds. I really don't like them. There's not like the APMEX ones or any. They're not really they just don't appeal to me. The Incuse Indian ones do look pretty cool, especially in gold form. Those are actually beautiful. I love those. But when it comes to anyone else, any other coins or the rounds, I really don't mind them. But it is really up to you. It's your opinion. Some people love the rounds because you can buy them cheap and they still have pretty decent designs on them as well. You know, you can go that route where you can just buy a whole bunch of generic silver for really cheap, let them pile up, you know, build a nice foundation off of these rounds, and then once you have, you know, a nice accumulative silver stack, then you can start diversifying and buying more high premium silver. You know, that's a direction you can go, and that is the beauty of silver stacking, is that there's so many different directions you can go, and none of them is wrong. There's no wrong way to stack. You know, it's just it's personal preference. Like when we were talking in my comments in my videos and I see some people talking, it's like one person will make one really good point, but then someone else will go against that other person's point but still have a good point. So there's really no wrong way. It really is up to you. And that's why my videos, I try to really leave open-ended questions and share just my experience in what I do, not telling you what to do, because something that I say that might work for me might not work for you, and it might actually hinder you. Like if I'm stacking certain coins like Morgans and I'm buying them on eBay, I understand the market of Morgans and have a better chance of, you know, not making bad purchases. But if I tell you to go buy Morgans on eBay, and you have no idea the market or how to determine the condition of those coins or what the value's worth, you could put yourself in a very bad situation. So I don't tell you to go buy Morgans. I tell you guys what I look out for when I am purchasing Morgans on eBay, whether it's condition, whether it's, you know, looking at the price range or who I'm buying from, or, you know, like etc. But the point is that I definitely have to be careful, especially having you know, an audience when it comes to financial or talking about money. I have to make sure that I get the point across that, you know, this might work for me, but make sure you figure out what works for you. And that's also why I like asking a lot of questions, because I want you guys to question yourself and ask yourself so you can get a better idea on where you're at in your stack. You know, some people, they're starting off. Well, I wouldn't be buying the same coins I am now as I was 2, 3 years ago. You know, I've developed and I'm a little further along in my journey than I was. So my stacking preferences, the coins I buy, where I buy from, how I buy, the space between time that I buy is a lot different. You know, you have to figure that out to the best of your ability because it can be dangerous. Buying generic silver is definitely the safest way to go right now, or American Eagles. I made a video on American Eagles earlier today, and that's why I kind of like this video, because I talked about government-backed coins in the, you know, earlier today, and now I'm talking about generic, so you can kind of get the idea of both worlds. You know, there definitely is some similarities, but especially, you know, comparing it to American Eagle. When it comes to pandas, though, that's a completely different category. You know, pandas and kookaburras, they're semi-numismatic coins, which means they have the beneficial factors of the metal content of silver, but they also do have a collector value on top that appreciates over the years. Like if I showed you a chart between American Eagles from the last 10 years price compared to pandas over the last 10 years, pandas appreciate every single year. From the ones from 2004 are worth 80, 90, $100. American Eagles from 2004 are only worth as much as spot price, basically. And that's what I really want people to understand. But when you go to sell them, you have to be very careful, because your local coin shops will pay you probably around the same amount of spot price, even for your 2004 pandas. Generic silver is something really easy to sell, and that's another thing I like to talk about, is it's very liquid. You can sell them to your local coin shop for spot price. He might give you spot, maybe $1 under spot, you know, whatever. You can sell for spot price. You don't have to store them in, you know, capsules or anything, so that you're cutting out that cost of capsules and capsule tubes and gaskets and coin flips, and, you know, you don't have to worry about that. You know, you can leave them out. You can let them tarnish. They can become collectible like the prospector rounds, you know, from private metals. There is conditions or there is times where they can be almost like a collector coin or it'd be considered a collector round. But they can be cool like that. I don't buy anything less than half ounce. I honestly don't buy anything less than ounces, but I wouldn't recommend buying anything less than a half ounce because when it comes to 10th ounce and 4th ounce rounds, they still have to stamp those coins and dye them and put the finish on. So the amount that of you know profits they're putting into these coins, they still or these rounds, they still have to get the profits back. So these 1/10 and 1/4 ounce rounds are very expensive. There's very high premiums on them. I recommend going constitutional silver as a way to stack fractional silver for cheap as well, for still getting the same benefits that you can with fractionals and also as many beneficial factors that come with junk silver as well, which are plenty. So I don't know. I'm gonna wrap up that video here though. What do you think about this? Do you guys like junk silver? I mean, do you guys like generic silver? Do you stack it? You know, which types of generic rounds do you like? Do you like the bars? Do you like the rounds? You know, what sizes do you like? Are you planning on selling those first? You know, what other things that maybe that I missed that are some beneficial key points that play into it that maybe I didn't cover that you can share with the rest of us. Anyways, thanks for tuning in. Make sure to like and subscribe if you already haven't. This was Silver Slayer. I will see you guys soon. Peace.